I profile the master in espionage dramas. Soul pierces through a small edge cannon fodder agent in the espionage office, only to find that the world is full of characters from espionage dramas. How to play this? I have a divine perspective because I am too familiar with these characters. Zheng Yaoxian, Su Baichuan, Song Xiao'an, Yu Zecheng, Wu Jingzhong, Wang Tianfeng, Soul Tower, Chen Moqun, Yu Manli, Li Xiaonan, Gu Xiaomeng, Mingtai, Lin Nansheng, Zhu Yizhen, Wang Manchun, etc. Since we are familiar with these characters, can we change many things, such as protecting Comrade Cheng Zhen'er, the true love of Comrade Zheng Yaoxian, from being hit by a car, avoiding the arrest of Li Xiaonan, the code-name Doctor in the Sparrow, notifying Comrade Gu Xiaomeng, the code-name Old Ghost in the Wind, to evacuate in advance, and protecting Comrade Lu Hanqing, the online comrade of Comrade Zheng YaoxianYes. Since we know it, we must find ways to stop and protect our comrades, and eliminate those enemies who pose a great threat to our party. Miss Yu Manli, your original name was Jinse. You were sold by your stepfather at the age of 14. Shut up. You said you're not a fortune teller. I'll say it again, I'm not a fortune teller. My skill is called profile writing. Master Wu, it's not safe to store so many gold bars in the safe in your bedroom's hidden compartment. Master Mu, please accept these 50 pieces of Ocean Divination Gold with a smile. Please keep it a secret for me, Master. It's been said that I'm not a fortune teller, but isn't the ceiling fee a bit low? Chapter 1. Cicada Plan. You are listening at novel-full.audio. Muyuan opened his eyes and saw several men wearing dark blue Zhongshan suits standing in front of the bed. Why are these three closest to you so familiar? Especially the leader. Why is this person so like Zheng Yaoxian? The spy drama, Kite, has been watched more than 10 times by Muyuan, and his favorite one is when Zheng Yaoxian was the sixth brother of the Military Statistics Bureau. Lying trough. This is Zheng Yaoxian, the sixth brother. He is surrounded by his close brothers Zhao Jianji and Song Xiao'an, who still look young and inexperienced, just in their early 20s. Muyuan, how are you feeling now? That's right. This is the voice of sixth brother Zheng Yaoxian. A gentle and magnetic baritone, but he is younger and more handsome than in TV dramas. Someone next to him introduced, Muyuan, this is Lieutenant Zheng Yaoxian, the leader of the Special Investigation Team from Nanjing. Muyuan suddenly felt a splitting headache. He held his head and moaned, wait a moment, my head hurts so much. Let me slow it down. With waves of headaches, Mubara's brain gained a lot of memories from others. It's not a dream, let alone an illusion. I'm currently in 1936, but why do I see characters in movies and TV shows? I remember after graduating from Public Security University, I was ordered to infiltrate a multinational criminal group as an undercover agent for nearly 5 years, from a junior to a senior management, and thus obtained all the evidence of this criminal group. Unfortunately, in the final battle against criminals, I was mistakenly killed by Interpol as one of the top criminals, and woke up to this world. I am currently a small spy at the Lixing Society's Secret Service office. After graduating from the Hangzhou Secret Service training class, I was assigned to the Zhenjiang working group of the Lixing Society's Secret Service office. Due to lack of background and poor social skills, I was assigned to the Zhenjiang work group after graduation and have always been a peripheral member of the group. In the team, they are even more excluded objects, and the most dangerous activity in each action is the original owners. The original owner of this operation was also the first to be attacked, and the other 10 team members were all ambushed and killed by Japanese spies. Muyuan is still quite excited at this moment. God's mercy has given me a chance to live again, and I am lucky. When I came to this world, I met my ace spy Kite comrade. I joined the party in college, and in this era, my faith will only become more firm. The person who just introduced Zheng Yaoxian was Captain Huang Shilong, the leader of the Zhenjiang working group. The Fuxing Society only has one working group in Zhenjiang. 10 people died and 1 was seriously injured. Dai Chunfeng, the director of the Special Affairs Department of Lixing Society, felt that there was something suspicious, so he sent the capable Zheng Yaoxian to investigate the matter. So this group leader Huang was a bit resentful and even deliberately brought Zheng Yaoxian's military rank up during the introduction. Muyuan's heart is funny, Huang Shilong. How can you compare yourself to Brother Six? He is one of the 8 great kings of the future military statistics, and ultimately promoted to Major General. After a moment of delay, Muyuan respectfully said to Zheng Yaoxian, "Hello sir, I'm feeling better now. Then tell me what happened, who ambushed you?" Muyuan looked at Huang Shilong and the team leader Chen Yu, who remained silent. Zheng Yaoxian understood and turned to Zhao Jianji and Song Xiao'an, saying, "You all wait for me outside. Don't come in unless you're told." Although Huang Shilong, the leader of the Zhenzhong working group, holds the rank of captain, Zheng Yaoxian is now the leader of the special investigation team, sent by Dai Chunfeng to thoroughly investigate this case, so they all left the ward with great wisdom. Only Muyuan and Zheng Yaoxian were left in the ward, and he said, "Sir, we were ambushed by 4 Japanese spies and caught off guard. Someone must have betrayed us. 4 people ambushed 11 of you. These 4-day spies are very powerful. They threw grenades at us from all 4 directions and fired very well, almost 1 shot at a time. I walked at the front and was knocked unconscious by the grenade. Who else besides your team knows the action plan?" "Sir, the Han team hasn't told anyone about our action plan, by the way. Send someone to arrest our team member Zhao Xiuxian, there must be something wrong with him. What's his problem? He should have acted with us, but he was called away halfway and never returned afterwards." "Wait a moment." Zheng Yao went outside the ward and asked Zhao Jianji and Song Xiao'an to immediately take someone to find Zhao Xiuxian. Huang Shilong ordered the captain of the first team, Chen Yu, to take them. Zheng Yaoxian returned and continued, "How do you know that you were ambushed by Japanese spies?" "Sir, although I was unable to move due to the explosion, I was conscious and heard their conversation." "Oh. What did they say?" One of the people said in Japanese, "All informed individuals have been removed, and there should be no more risks to the Cicada plan. Next, we will fully cooperate with Huang Ke to ensure the smooth implementation of the plan." Zheng Yaoxian glanced at it and said, "Cicada plan. Yellow sparrow. I studied abroad in Japan for a year and can understand Japanese. Huang Ke is probably the code name for a Japanese spy. From the tone of the Japanese spy, it can be seen that they attach great importance to this Cicada plan and are determined to win it. The original owner studied abroad in Japan for a year, and had already learned Japanese before going to Japan, so Mohara, who integrated the original owner's memory, can now be said to be proficient in Japanese. The informants have all been eliminated." Zheng Yaoxian pondered for a few seconds and asked, "What do you know? Or what case are you investigating?" "We are investigating a box. Important clues." Zheng Yaoxian leaned down towards the hospital bed and asked urgently, "What kind of box is it?" "Larger than a rattan box, it was sealed 5 times horizontally and vertically with iron sealing straps. It was also locked at Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com. The box was hidden among a batch of local specialties, and our team leader suspected that there were prohibited items inside. They chased us directly from Fengxing Ferry Company to Warehouse 3, and when they got the box and prepared to leave, they were ambushed." Zheng Yaoxian was somewhat shocked and asked, "You have obtained the box?" "Yes, the Korean team also opened the box." "What is in the box?" "I don't know, I was watching outside the warehouse when opening the box." "So, for days of espionage ambush, are you here to grab boxes?" "If there weren't that box on site, it would definitely have been taken by Japanese spies." Zheng Yaoxian has basically understood Muyuan's position in the working group, and the box must have been taken by Japanese spies. He comforted and encouraged with some regret, 10 out of 11 people have died, and you were bombed by a grenade to the point where you survived. You have brought back such important intelligence. Mu Yuan, I will ask for your credit to the higher-ups. Sir, our actions are very secretive, and it is impossible for outsiders to know. It can also be confirmed that the 4-day spies who ambushed us rushed over after hearing the news, and they are very familiar with the terrain and environment, and they cooperate very well with each other. They are definitely skilled in action with clean and efficient methods. Zheng Yaoxian frowned slightly and nodded before continuing to ask, do you know who called Zhao Xiuxian away? Zhao Xiuxian reported to the South Korean team that he was going to leave. The South Korean team showed some discomfort at the time, but still reluctantly agreed to let him go. Zheng Yaoxian pointed his spear directly at Huang Shilong upon hearing Mu Yuan's words and asked, do you mean that Zhao Xiuxian was called back by the working group? According to the original owner's memory description, Mu Yuan also had his own analysis and judgment on this matter. At this moment, he nervously said, Sir, I'm worried that Zhao Xiuxian has been silenced now. Chapter 2. Heroes Similarities. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zheng Yaoxian also lit a cigarette with great concern and took a deep puff. The situation was somewhat complicated, and the important clue box must have been taken by Japanese spies. If Zhao Xiuxian were silenced, then this matter would be serious. Zheng Yaoxian summarized that Mu Yuan had provided a lot of information, which was important, but there seemed to be no truly useful clues. Zheng Yaoxian took 2 puffs of smoke and said, I have the same worries as you. This feeling is very strong, my heart is now in my throat. Zheng Yaoxian, who was steady and shrewd, comforted, you don't have to worry too much. If Zhao Xiuxian has an accident, it will further demonstrate the seriousness of this Cicada plan. If we were really silenced, it would mean the clues were interrupted. Mu Yuan sighed lightly and said, it would be a bit troublesome for us to continue investigating. You probably haven't seen the appearance of the Japanese spy, have you? No, but I still have an important clue. After the Japanese spy retreated, I vaguely heard the Japanese spy who had spoken before say, there's no need for us not to meet, Gecko. If you have something to do, go to that noodle shop. Gecko, this is another code name for Japanese spy. There are many noodle shops in Jinzhong, but this information is still not very helpful to us, Zheng Yaoxian said anxiously. Sir, I have come up with a win-win solution. Oh. How can you tell me? In modern times, Mu Yuan is a master of action, otherwise he would not have been sent to infiltrate multinational criminal groups to carry out missions. In the past 5 years of undercover work, he even became a senior management member of a criminal group, which is enough to prove his ability. Sir, now it can be confirmed that this Cicada Plan Day spy attaches great importance, with some meaning that only success is allowed and failure is not allowed. If they know that an informant has not died, they are likely to take action again. Zheng Yaoxian's eyes lit up again, which was exactly the thought he had just flashed. He smiled and said, keep talking. Sir, I don't know what I told you outside now. I will continue to faint later. After you go out, tell Huang Shilong and Qin Yuchan about the plan and Huang Ke, and also tell them that I have seen the box, but before I finish speaking everything, I have fainted with a headache. Zheng Yaoxian grinned and lightly patted Mu Yuan's arm with his hand, praising, this is a good solution. I will send someone to keep an eye on them. If no one sends a message out, tonight I will have someone spread the news about what you are rescuing. Talking to smart people is effortless, and Lu Gu fully understands his own intentions, which shows that the ability of Comrade Zheng Yaoxian in Gizi Lu is not a false rumor. It seems that the chief also thinks the same way. Zheng Yaoxian looked at Mu Yuan with great appreciation at the moment and asked, I have read your information. I graduated from the Hangzhou spy training class and studied in Japan for a year before. How could your ability be so aggrieved here? Mu Yuan smiled bitterly and said, my family background is average and I don't have much background. Plus, I don't like to show off, and I don't know how to flatter or flatter. I deserve to be marginalized. Zheng Yaoxian comforted again, Mu Yuan, we will do our best to solve this Japanese spy case this time. With your credit, you should not have to suffer any more injustice here. Zheng Yaoxian is a person who loves talent. After a brief encounter with him, he discovered that Mu Yuan is capable. It is a pity that such a talent is not valued here and is still treated as cannon fodder. Thank you, sir, for your support. Okay, I'll go out and arrange it. Don't worry, I'll secretly replace you with a corpse at the hospital, and I'll ensure your safety. Thank you, Captain Zheng, for your thoughtful consideration, sir. Zheng Yaoxian went out just in time for Song Xiao'an and Zhao Jianji to return. Brother, Zhao Xuxian was cut off and died at home, and no valuable clues were found at the scene. Indeed, he died. Captain Zheng had long thought of this result. Huang Shilong asked. It seems that Mubara was right. It was Zhao Xuxian who leaked the operation of the second team. Mubara told me that they found out about the Japanese Cicada plan and also said that the Japanese spy Yellowbird was the main person implementing the plan. Zhao Xuxian was killed by Japanese spies. Huang Shilong asked. Otherwise, because Zhao Xuxian left halfway without following the second team, this is the biggest suspicion. How could the Japanese spy keep him? Huang Shilong asked, it's really a big case. How is Mu Yuan doing now? Zheng Yaoxian glanced at him and let out a long sigh, hey. Mu Yuan's injury is too serious. He fainted before he finished speaking. Hurry up and call the doctor, I have something to say to him. The doctor and nurse had already received the news and ran over. Zheng Yao called the doctor aside and gave him some advice before allowing him to enter the ward. The doctor was busy for a while, and after coming out, he told everyone that Mu Yuan's physical condition was very poor and he needed to rest well. Even if he woke up, he couldn't say too much. Since that's the case, then you all go back. I'll arrange for someone to guard here, Zheng Yaoxian said to Huang Shilong. This is not suitable. Let's send someone from our Zhenjiang team to guard it. Leader Huang, Mu Yuan has important clues about the Japanese spy mission, and I must understand the content of the Japanese Cicada plan. Let's let our special investigation team protect him. This is too hard for team leader Zheng. If we say such a big thing again, our Zhenjiang team cannot do nothing. Zheng Yao thought for a moment and said, what Captain Huang said is also reasonable. I really don't have enough manpower here. Alright, you can leave 2 people in front of the ward. After all, you are familiar with the people in this hospital, and you also know the doctors and nurses who come in and out. No problem, I will send someone to deliver the meal tonight. No need. You should investigate carefully what the second team is investigating and what the Cicada plan is. The Japanese spy took the risk of exposing it and killed so many people to silence it. This shows that this plan is very important for the Japanese spy. Besides, if the Zhenjiang work team doesn't know anything, they probably won't be able to explain it to the authorities. Yes. 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 Captain Zheng is right. We will start an investigation when we go back. Huang Shilong and Qin Yu left with the people from the Zhenjiang working group. Zheng Yaoxian brought his brothers with him this time, and their abilities were stronger than those of Zhao Jianji and Song Xiao'an. Zheng Yaoxian arranged everyone's tasks first, and then all the brothers with tasks left the hospital through the back door because Huang Shilong left other people in the hospital, which couldn't escape Zheng Yaoxian's eyes. However, it cannot be determined that the traitor is Huang Shilong just because of this. Zheng Yaoxian ordered everyone not to enter the ward of Mu Yuan without his own command. At this moment, Mu Yuan felt as if he had superpowers, because now he could clearly hear the voices outside the ward, and even the neighboring patient could hear them clearly. It is obvious that one's hearing is much stronger than that of a normal person, and indeed, traveling through time brings benefits. This ability can be extremely helpful for future work activities. Another amazing thing is that since he was able to control this body, Muyuan felt that it was his own body, because he had suffered several fractures from previous explosions without any sensation. Even if he touched it with his hands, it didn't hurt. So Muyuan secretly moved his limbs and body, feeling that there was no problem with his movements. This is good too fast. It's only been less than a day, so Mubara felt that what he traveled through was not just his soul, but also his body seemed to have replaced the original owner. That would be great, because as a senior spy, there should be no flaws on one's body, especially the scars left by red wounds, including the calluses on the hands that often touch guns. Chapter 3, There's a Movement. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Zheng Yaoxian arranged everything and closed the door before coming to the bed, saying, Muyuan, as you expected, Zhao Xiuxian was really killed by someone cutting his throat. I have already arranged it according to the plan. Sir. Muyuan, don't call me sir in the future. I'm a few years older than you, just call me big brother. How can that be done? Brother Mu, don't be so distant from me. To be honest, I sent someone to investigate you and found that you don't have many friends either. If you don't mind, I, Zheng Yaoxian, am willing to be your friend. Sir Zheng, having friends like you under my command is a blessing that has been cultivated over several lifetimes. Major General Zheng Yaoxian of the Future Military Statistics Bureau, the Ghost Six of the Eight Great Kings, and most importantly, his fellow kite enthusiast who shares the same faith as himself. Now I am a peripheral spy of Lixing society. In the future, if I want to prove my abilities and play a greater role, I will definitely establish a network of relationships. 6 brothers are definitely an important member of this network. Having friends like you is also an honor for me, Zheng Yaoxian. I don't want to be Officer Zheng's friend, I want to be Officer Zheng's brother. Ha ha ha. That would be great. Zheng Yaoxian has another brother. Big brother. This big brother shouted sincerely, because only he knew that this big brother was equivalent to calling a comrade. As soon as I arrived in this world, I had a relationship with this amazing ace spy, and I felt a lot more at ease. This itself was a huge benefit. It should be because he was worried that Japanese spy assassins would come at any time. Before he was ready, Jin Yao had someone answer a phone in the ward, and now he wanted to ensure that Muyuan wouldn't have any problems. Just as the phone was installed, a call came in. I'm Zheng Yaoxian. Great. Keep watching him and see what he's doing next. Also, send someone to secretly investigate his social circle, and don't let anyone go. After Zheng Yaoxian hung up the phone, Muyuan asked, Big brother, did the mole act? Zheng Yaoxian nodded and asked with a smile, do you know who it is? This question won't be Huang Shilong, because I almost named him the most suspicious before. Who could it be? Muyuan immediately thought of Huang Shilong's trusted captain of the first team. Is it Qin Yu? Clever, it's him. I don't know if he's acting on orders yet. I think he acted on orders. Do you still suspect Huang Shilong? Big brother, whatever good things happen in the work group belongs to the first team. Qin Yu is a confidant of Huang Shilong, and the captain of the second team, Han Chong, has always been at odds with Qin Yu. When they get together, they argue. So what do you mean is that Qin Yu alone cannot call Zhao Xiuxian away? What if Qin Yu borrowed Huang Shilong's name to ask for someone? Although memories have fused, some details are still being sorted out by Muyuan, who said, it is indeed possible, but I always feel that there is something wrong with Huang Shilong. I believe in your intuition, but there is another possibility, which is that Zhao Xiuxian was already lying. Perhaps no one called him, but no matter what, I have already sent someone to keep an eye on them. Don't worry, Brother Mu. No matter who dares to collude with the Japanese spy, it will be a dead end. Big brother, this room is very dangerous. You'd better go to another room. The setup will be set up soon, and we will patiently wait for the Japanese spy to come and kill you. Big brother, this time we must let the Japanese spy really kill me and let the Japanese spy go. Mu Yuan is familiar with this period of history, especially for the little devils who possess the spirit of Bushido. It would be very difficult to capture them alive and ask them something from their mouths. Doing so will also startle the snake, because from the language of the Japanese spy, it can be inferred that the main executor of the Cicada plan is the Japanese spy codenamed Huangke, and this person is not among the 4 Japanese spy assassins who ambushed and robbed boxes. Therefore, even if we seize these 4 days of espionage, we may not be able to inquire about the content of the Cicada plan. To be safe, the key is to follow the clues and find the yellow sparrow. I know, so you will be pushed into the operating room again later. We have found someone who just died to replace you. Big brother, the brothers outside are very dangerous. The 2 people at the door are Huang Shilong's people. I have investigated and found that these 2 people usually bully men and women with their identity in the Fuxing society, and they both deserve more than they deserve. This is also my main purpose of keeping Huang Shilong behind. Through the memory of the original owner, Mobara knew who the 2 spies outside were. They had persecuted underground party comrades before, and indeed deserved their lives. Would Zheng Yaoxian also know about this before sending them to death? It is very likely that if it were me, I would also arrange it this way, because in order to make the Japanese spy not doubt it, they not only had to kill the informant, but also the person who protected him. Zheng Yaoxian was really thoughtful and had planned for a long time. Huang Shilong left 2 trusted followers who thought they were eyeliner, but they didn't want to be dead. Big brother is indeed thoughtful. It was not yet dark, and 2 nurses came over with the help of several spies to push Mu Yuan out of the ward. This time, Zheng Yao personally led people to protect him to prevent Japanese spies from assassinating him at this time. Upon entering the operating room, Mu Yuan immediately got off the ground, startling both the doctor and Zheng Yaoxian. "Sir, you can't go down yet," the doctor exclaimed in surprise. Zheng Yaoxian supported Mu Yuan and said, "Brother Mu, don't worry. You don't need to participate in this operation by contacting Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com. Mu Yuan pulled Zheng Yaoxian aside and whispered, "Big brother, I'm fine now. Besides, I understand Japanese, and my hearing and vision are better than ordinary people. This will be very helpful for us to solve this case." "Do you have more hearing and vision than the average person?" "Yes, I can hear normal speech about 20 meters away, and my vision should be above 6.0, which is a bit farther than normal people's vision." After soul piercing, Mahara was very surprised by his hearing and vision. "You really have a natural talent, is this what you were born with?" "Yes, I was born like this. But you have multiple fractures on your body, you still need to rest well." "Big brother, my body is no longer in big trouble," Mu Yuan said, vigorously moving his muscles and bones. "Don't deceive me, I'll have the doctor give you a good examination." After the examination, nothing was found to be wrong, and the doctors exclaimed, "It's a miracle. When it was delivered yesterday, there were multiple fractures, but now it's all healed. Brother Mu's recovery ability is not average strong." Mu Yuan pulled Zheng Yaoxian aside again and whispered, "Big brother, I just need to know my vision and hearing by myself. You're just a walking bug, you should keep it a secret. Take it easy, I won't tell anyone." "Big brother, I also secretly practiced lip reading." Mu Yuan learned this skill specifically for investigation during his time as a modern undercover agent. "You can still read lip language. So, I must participate in this operation. I am not doing anything to make achievements, but simply to catch the little devils and stop their Cicada plan. Since your health is fine, I can't help but beg for it, big brother." Chapter 4. Unique Skills. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The hospital prepared a recently deceased man's body according to Zheng Yaoxian's request, and has now disguised himself according to Mu Yuan's injuries. Zheng Yaoxian looked at his watch and said to Mu Yuan, "Just a moment, I'll send someone to prepare a suit of clothes for you." Are you used to using Mapai's broomstick? I'm used to it, my gun is like a horse brand broomstick. Mu Yuan changed into casual attire, and Zheng Yaoxian gave him a horse label roll, Colt M1903. When the time was up, Zheng Yaoxian and Mu Yuan escorted the body back to the hospital room with a few people. Zheng Yaoxian called the two close confidants of Huang Shilong aside in advance and ordered, "You two keep an eye on it, don't let anyone unrelated enter the ward." Zheng Yaoxian did not let these two people see the face of the body, and Song Xiao'an and Zhao Jianji pushed into the ward under cover. Zheng Yaoxian and Mu Yuan are both certain that the Japanese spy assassin will come at any time, because they wish they could silence him now. Their idea is to never let this person speak a word again. At around 10 o'clock, Mu Yuan, who was always on high alert in other wards, heard footsteps before hearing a muffled groan and wall collision in the hallway. Zheng Yaoxian saw through the curtains a person wearing a white coat, a mask, and a short stature. This person held a surgical knife and in the blink of an eye, killed two spies guarding the entrance of the ward. He did not make the two people fall to the ground, but instead pasted one spy on the wall and pushed the other directly into the ward by knocking the door. The spy was very careful this day, as he appeared to be a skilled operator. He was worried that there were still spies guarding the ward, so he first pushed a spy whose throat had been cut open to test. Following closely behind the assassin, he blocked his way into the hospital room with the remaining spy's body. At this point, the lights in the ward were turned off, but due to the corridor lights and moonlight, the room was clear at a glance. A person lay on a hospital bed, not only hanging a hanging bottle, but also having an oxygen cylinder installed. The Japanese spy assassin clenched his surgical knife and quickly walked towards the hospital bed, when he heard hurried footsteps coming from the hallway. Without hesitation, the killer used a surgical knife to cut open the throat of the person on the hospital bed, and then inserted the surgical knife into the target's heart. The Japanese spy assassin felt something was wrong because the person on the hospital bed was attacked without any reaction, but he didn't have time to think much and flashed to the window. Although Zheng Yaoxian and Mu Yuan were certain that the Japanese spy would come, they were both worried and excited when they did. Zheng Yaoxian is now very certain that the Cicada Plan Day spy is a must-have, and the next focus is whether he can keep up with this day spy. It is now dark night, and tracking an experienced day spy is not easy. If it fails, everything will be in vain. Mu Yuan is very excited now. This is the first little devil he has seen in this era, and his plan has basically been successful. The arrival of the Japanese spy proves that they have received the news. It goes without saying that there is an insider in the working group who is linked to the Japanese spy. Now it has been confirmed that it is Chen Yu, and the next step is to see if Huang Shilong is the one. Zheng Yaoxian has a good reputation in the Secret Service because he always fights alongside his subordinates, often leading the way. Zheng Yaoxian and Mu Yuan, who had changed into casual clothes, rushed out of the hospital room directly. It was best not to let the Japanese spy discover that the person on the hospital bed had died, and to let the Japanese spy kill them again before they could feel more at ease. Even if it's found to be a corpse, it's okay because these 4 Japanese spies are all experts, and living is a major mistake for them. It's only reasonable for them to die. We cannot let the Japanese spy leave through the door, as it will definitely lead to gunfights and innocent injuries. With the skills of the Japanese spy, it is easy to leave through the window of the 3rd floor ward. Zheng Yaoxian and Mu Yuan ran towards the ward, deliberately making the sound of footsteps quite loud, in order to allow the Japanese spy killer to kill the body on the hospital bed as quickly as possible. When Zheng Yaoxian and Mu Yuan arrived at the ward, they saw a white shadow flickering and disappearing outside the window. 2 corpses lay on the ground at the entrance of the ward, which were close confidants of Huang Shilong. One of them had their throat cut, and the other had a knife in their chest. This assassin's skills were quite good. The ward lights were turned on, and the body on the hospital bed was seen again. The neck was also cut open with a sharp blade, and a surgical knife was inserted in the heart, indicating that the Japanese spy killer did not go to check. It is also said that the Japanese spy trusted the intelligence provided by the mole very much. The ward was clear at a glance, with no hiding place. Mahara had already reached the window and said, "Big brother, catch up. I'll follow the Japanese spy assassin, I promise they won't find me." "Okay. It's all up to you, brother." Zheng Yaoxian also wanted to confirm whether Muyuan had spoken big, and the two quickly climbed from the third floor to the ground. It is also reasonable for a Japanese spy to be pursued by several people, after all, it was a special agent sent by the Secret Service. It would be a bit fake if they couldn't keep up with even the people, but it was very difficult to keep up with the target in the dark. Bang! 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 Song Xiao'an and Zhao Jianji fired a few shots in the direction of the Japanese spy according to Zheng Yaoxian's orders, and then chased after them in unison. Zheng Yaoxian and Muyuan caught up with Zhao Jianji and Song Xiao'an, both of whom had been warned in advance. Soon, the Japanese spy disappeared into the dark alley, and after losing their target, they divided their search. Only Muyuan followed the Japanese spy closely, while Zheng Yaoxian followed him closely. Mahara is too familiar with this, he was the first to lock in the footsteps of the Japanese spy. Zhaozhuyuan.com. This is one of his exceptional abilities, as everyone's footsteps are different, which is formed by various factors. Many people can hear the footsteps of their parents and loved ones as an example. Muyuan was specially trained in modern times to deliberately remember the footsteps of important figures. In this era, his hearing and vision have been greatly enhanced, and this ability has become his superpower and even his golden finger. The Japanese spy turned left and right, weaving through the familiar alleys and could see the retreat route he had designed in advance. Soon, he could not see the pursuers behind him or hear their shouting. The Japanese spy was very confident that his tail had been shaken off, but even so, he confirmed several times and did not find anyone following him before returning to his residence. In fact, before this, Zheng Yaoxian had not seen the figure of the Japanese spy, let alone heard the sound of footsteps, but Muyuan did not hesitate whether he was walking straight or turning. Zheng Yaoxian believes that Muyuan really has good hearing at this moment, so he doesn't dare to disturb and tries to keep quiet. At the moment of seeing the Japanese spy, Zheng Yaoxian felt very happy and shocked. There was such a powerful tracking technique in the world, so his anti-tracking technique must be very powerful. This kid is simply a natural intelligence officer, who knows Japanese and lip language. He graduated from the Hangzhou spy training class, so fighting and shooting should be no problem. Thinking of this, Zheng Yaoxian became worried again. With such strong abilities, it would be a disaster for his comrades. Zheng Yaoxian was just wondering whether to recommend this talent to Dai Chunfeng. Muyuan pulled him to hide in the corner and peeked out to look at the Japanese spy who had already taken off his white coat. I saw him first hide in a hidden corner to rest and observe the surroundings for about 5 minutes, then turn over and jump into a single courtyard to ensure safety. Chapter 5. Wang Tianfeng. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After a while, the light in a room lit up, and Muyuan chased after the small courtyard. He listened carefully and circled around the courtyard before feeling relieved. Zheng Yaoxian has always followed Muyuan, and he has also confirmed that this courtyard is the residence of the Japanese spy assassin. The two of them found a safe and secluded place to squat down, and Zheng Yaoxian said in great admiration, "Ah Yuan, this skill is simply amazing. Are you so skilled during the day? It's difficult to use this method when there are many people making noise during the day, but there are daytime methods. I can guarantee that as long as it's the target I'm targeting, as long as there's no unexpected situation, he won't be able to run away. I believe it. I absolutely believe you have this ability now, that's great. Based on the clues and information you provided earlier, our next action is very clear and clear." Muyuan's mind is as clear as Zheng Yaoxian's. Now that a Japanese spy has been determined, he is also very clear on what to do next. Yes, the noodle shop. We'll wait for this Japanese spy to go to the noodle shop so we can find other Japanese spies who have been in contact with him. When the Japanese spy was not found, this information was of no use, but now that the target is identified, it becomes a crucial piece of information. Muyuan, thanks to you this time. It feels like everything is already under our control. Because of Muyuan's abilities, this case has become so smooth, and Zheng Yaoxian doesn't know whether encountering such a person is a good thing or a bad thing at this time. Big brother, I think the division of labor for this Japanese spy team is very clear. They should have a correspondent. Zheng Yaoxian's eyebrows stood up upon hearing this, and he excitedly said, yes. The Japanese spy team should be equipped with a radio station. If we can really capture the password book, it would be a huge credit, because currently it is very difficult to crack the Japanese spy radio station. With their password book, it would be different. Dai Chunfeng dreams of wanting the Japanese spy password book. That's right, so we'll try to find all the hiding places of Japanese spies by following the clues. Brother Mu, I am increasingly realizing that you are a talented person. Big brother, the little devil can activate more of my potential, and I will work hard to be the nemesis of the little devil. Haha, it seems that Brother Mu hates the little devils. We have an inexplicable blood feud with the little devils, and my purpose towards them is to eliminate them completely. Whoever hinders me from killing the devils is my enemy. Muyuan found that in this era, his hatred towards the little devils became even stronger. Ah Yuan, do you have the same attitude towards the Red Party? Zheng Yaoxian couldn't help but probe. Muyuan immediately understood why Zheng Yaoxian asked this question and quickly said, brother, there's no one else here. To be honest with you, I'm only interested in the Japanese. If I were to deal with the persecution of my fellow countrymen, I'm sorry, my abilities would be completely destroyed. Even if Big Brother intervenes, it won't be of any use. Zheng Yaoxian felt a lot relieved after hearing this and smiled. Ah Yuan, you're not allowed to say this to anyone else, but you're really in a bad temper with me. The first time I saw Big Brother, I felt warm. Ha ha ha, it seems that in the future, I will cooperate more with you, brother. As long as it's related to the devils, Big Brother, I won't hesitate. Don't come to me when dealing with your own compatriots. But they are the Red Party. But they also resist Japan. It would be great if such talents could develop into their own. Zheng Yaoxian is a special party member, and for safety reasons, the organization does not advocate for him to personally develop offline. Zheng Yaoxian quickly dispelled this idea and advised again, brother, you must not say this to anyone else, and you cannot say it in front of me in the future. Muyuan smiled and thought to himself, if I didn't know you're a kite comrade, you would think I dare say it. Big brother, I'm not that foolish. Is it time to arrest Qin Yu now? I'm worried that Japanese spies might also attack him. Zheng Yaoxian only brought 10 people this time, and used 4 to keep an eye on Qin Yu and Huang Shilong. The hospital kept 2, followed by 4 people including Song Xiao'an and Zhao Jinji. Upon hearing Muyuan's question, Zheng Yaoxian no longer kept it hidden and said, we should have already been arrested. It's like this, I dare not use the people from the Zhenjiang team. I didn't have enough manpower, so I called Chuzhua in the afternoon. He sent another team, led by Wang Tianfeng, who is also very capable. Wang Tianfeng. Do you know each other? I've heard of this person, does he have a nickname called, Crazy Person? Isn't Wang Tianfeng the military statistics instructor with the codename Poison Bee in the spy drama Disguiser? Let me strangle him. Not all the important characters in these spy dramas will appear, will they? In this case, wouldn't I have a divine perspective, because I am familiar with all the characters in spy dramas? That's right, he is a person who is swift and decisive in his actions, especially when others like to act recklessly, which is difficult to understand. However, he is also deeply loved by the constellation, and sending him also shows that the constellation attaches great importance to this Cicada plan. Okay, Captain Wang's arrest of Qin Yu can also stimulate Japanese spies and make them move quickly. Find Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com. Yes, we don't have that much time, and besides, we don't know exactly what the Cicada plan is right now. It would be terrible if the Japanese spy were to succeed, so we arrested Qin Yu. It would be best if he could explain it clearly. I estimate he probably doesn't know much. I don't think Huang Shilong and Qin Yu may know about the Cicada plan, but they are just a dog bought by Japanese spies. Do you still think Huang Shilong has a problem? Because after careful reflection, it's very likely that he called Zhao Xiuxian. If it were Qin Yu, even if he moved out of Huang Shilong, it wouldn't work. All the memories of the original owner are there, because they integrated too quickly. Mu Yuan still needs to slowly organize some details, and now many things have been remembered. Why are you so certain that Zhao Xiuxian is not lying? Because he was on an internal phone at the time. Internal call, did you return to your group halfway? It was called back by Huang Shilong, and only Captain Han Chong knew the specific reason. After leaving Huang Shilong's office, Zhao Xiuxian received a call and left with Captain Han's consent. You said that, Huang Shilong is really suspicious. Blame my headache just now, I forgot this important part. Zheng Yaoxian looked at Mu Yuan with appreciation again and said, don't worry, he can't run. My two most capable brothers are staring at him. At this moment, Song Xiao'an and Zhao Jianji followed with two people. Zheng Yaoxian assigned them surveillance tasks and asked them to keep an eye on the entrance and exit of this small courtyard. I have observed before and after, and this is a small courtyard with only 2 bungalows in it. One of the rooms has a light on, but it has been turned off now. The Japanese spy should have been sleeping. Chapter 6. Interrogation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Mu Yuan and Zheng Yaoxian judged that this small courtyard would only have 2 days of espionage at most, because there was no arrest mission, leaving Song Xiao'an and the 4 of them to keep an eye on enough. Remember, we will be back before dawn tomorrow, you just need to keep an eye on it. If the target leaves, try to follow along as much as possible, but make sure to report it as soon as possible. After the arrangement was completed, Zheng Yaoxian said to Mu Yuan, Yuan, let's go back now and see the result of the interrogation of Qin Yu. Okay. I also want to know why they got involved with the little devils. By the way, Yuan, do you think the Japanese spy only sent this one assassin? The only person I heard was this. Mu Yuan was worried about being protected by Japanese spies, so he was very careful when tracking. Fortunately, there were hardly anyone on the street after 10 o'clock in that era, and no one was found to be tracking along the way, so it was basically certain that the killer was only this person. This assassin has a lot of courage. He dares to come alone. I suspect he has taken care of me, and I will know if he has returned to the hospital. Because I have left someone in the hospital, I will not let anyone suspicious go. The 2 of them returned to the hospital first, where there were already people waiting for Zheng Yaoxian. Brother, no other suspicious individuals were found in the hospital. Perhaps a Japanese spy came, or the Japanese spy who received him did not enter the hospital and quickly evacuated when he saw a signal of his companion's successful assassination. Indeed, there is a possibility. The little devils have always been arrogant, and it seems that this assassin's skills are indeed good. It's not surprising to only have one, Zheng Yaoxian said. Brother, Chongqing said that Officer Wang led people to arrest Huang Shilong. Zheng Yaoxian was not surprised when he heard this. Instead, he let out a sigh of relief and said, it seems that this crazy Wang has obtained ironclad evidence. He deserves it, and his speed is fast. Zheng Yaoxian finished speaking and said to Mu Yuan, let's go, Yuan, let's go see why this bastard betrayed the party in the country and colluded with the little devils. Zheng Yaoxian drove with Mu Yuan to a hotel where he noticed a hidden person and reminded him, Big brother, there's someone. It's okay, they are under Wang Tianfeng's command. The two of them got off the car and emerged from the darkness. When they saw Zheng Yaoxian, they quickly and respectfully shouted, "Hello, Captain Zheng." "Hello, this is my brother Muyuan. Where's your head?" "Interrogate Huang Shilong inside, I'll take you inside." Upon arriving at the innermost room on the second floor of the hotel, Muyuan saw Huang Shilong bound by various flowers, kneeling on the ground trembling uncontrollably. Wearing a white shirt, rolling up his sleeves, and holding a dagger in his hand, Wang Tianfeng caught Muyuan's eye. I saw that his 4 or 6-part hairstyle was neatly combed, looking very energetic. His white shirt was even more prominent, and he was clean and tidy. His pants were straight, and his leather shoes were shiny and spotless. Now Wang Tianfeng is only 20.7 or 8 years old. He is delicate and elegant, and it feels like he shouldn't be holding a dagger in his hand. Holding a book is more in line with his temperament. Wang Tianfeng saw Zheng Yaoxian and handed the dagger to his subordinate next to him. He took out a handkerchief and wiped his hands, asking, "Yaoxian, how is your side?" "It went smoothly." "How did you catch him, Chen Yu?" "Chen Yu has been cut off and silenced by the assassin. After hearing about it, I immediately met up with your brothers and checked the phone records of the Zhenjiang Working Group office. It turned out that only Huang Shilong's office had made a phone call, and after verification, it was him who made a public phone call. Under what circumstances would a person make a phone call to a public telephone booth? It's like admitting to oneself. This kid is really brave. What else are you saying? It's indeed conclusive evidence. There is no doubt that he is the spy who colluded with the Japanese spy. Well, he recruited them all before the execution." Zheng Yaoxian grabbed Huang Shilong's ear and asked him to look at him, saying, "Brother Mu is absolutely right. The mole is really you, Huang Shilong." Huang Shilong cried, "Captain Zheng, Instructor Wang, I really didn't know they were Japanese spies before yesterday." "Who are they? Make it clear. I haven't seen them either. Last October, I received a phone call saying that there was a surprise under my bed. At first glance, it looked like an untimed time bomb, but it scared me a lot. Next to the time bomb, there was a box containing 10 big yellow croakers. It was obvious that this was for me to choose, So you chose the big yellow croaker to start helping them with things. They didn't ask me to do anything, and in half a year, they only asked me to apply for 2 spy passes and a pass for them. It wasn't until the day before yesterday that they contacted me again, saying that their very important receiver had been detained by our people. They asked me to quickly investigate what was going on, and if I found it, I immediately notified them, especially asking me to check a box that said there was something very valuable inside. At that time, I really didn't know they were Japanese spies. After checking, I found out that Han Chong had taken people to investigate Fengxing Xiaoluan Company. So I found an excuse to call them back first. I originally wanted to ask Han Chong directly, but this kid was probably worried that we would take credit for him without revealing anything. Later, I called Zhao Xuxian to inquire about the situation. Keep talking. After asking clearly, I called the person and informed them that they were actually Japanese spies. After the incident with the second team, I was extremely scared and contacted Shuyuan www.zhaoxuyuan.com. I was very worried that Zhao Xuxian would reveal me, but I didn't want the Japanese spies to handle everything thoroughly. They killed the person in advance. Zheng Yaoxian went up and gave Huang Shilong a big pussy, cursing, "You bastard, you're lying. It's you who notified the Japanese spy to kill Zhao Xuxian. Otherwise, how would the Japanese spy know about him?" Huang Shilong, whose lie was exposed, defended himself, "I also have no way out. Collaborating with the enemy is a big sin to turn around, and I really didn't know before. Don't you know? Chicken feathers. In Zhenjiang, you're just a local snake. Besides, who needs a spy's license and a special pass for ordinary people? Zheng Yaoxian squatted in front of Huang Shilong, looked at him first, and said, "You have met a good person. If I were to interrogate you, I would let you explain all the dirty things you have done as the leader of Zhenjiang in recent years. Captain Zheng, I really didn't know they were Japanese spies. You're so cunning. It's strange that you don't know. Since you don't know how to repent, what's there to say to me? I think you'll tell me the truth in front of me." Dai Chunfeng had clear rewards and punishments, and Huang Shilong knew that he would definitely die if he went to Nanjing. He was immediately scared and his body was like a sieve of bran. Mu Yuan could hear the sound of his teeth fighting. "Don't. I'll say it. I'll say everything. So, it's best for you to explain truthfully, so that we can still say a few good words for you. I will be honest and never dare to conceal anything. Do you know about the Cicada plan of the Japanese spy?" Zheng Yaoxian asked. "I really don't know, I only found out yesterday when I heard from you. How many Japanese spies have contacted you?" "Only one, speaks Chinese fluently." "What do you think the Japanese spy asked you for a spy's license and a pass for?" Wang Tianfeng asked. Chapter 7. Discovering Clues. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Without hesitation, Huang Shilong said, "It should be entering and exiting some military important areas. Otherwise, if there are any places in Zhenjiang that require special agents' permits and special passes." "What do you mean by the Yangtze River Defense Force?" Huang Shilong is very familiar with Zhenjiang and said, "Zhenjiang is the gateway to Nanjing. There are always heavy troops stationed here, and recently we have been strengthening the river defense. We have also sent an additional division of troops. Besides that, I really don't know what Japanese spies will be interested in. I know about this. Not only did we add one division to Zhenjiang, but we also added 2 divisions to Jiangyin Fortress," said Wang Tianfeng. "Japanese spies have all come to Zhenjiang, how could Jiangyin Fortress be let go?" "It seems that the Japanese spy may have come towards Jiangfang," said Wang Tianfeng. "Huang Shilong, are you giving the Japanese spy a real spy certificate?" "I don't have this right. I gave them a temporary work permit, but the pass was specially approved with my signature. Huang Shilong will definitely not survive, and not only that, he will also be robbed of his family." Zheng Yaoxian thought for a moment and said to Wang Tianfeng, "Well, Tianfeng, you go ask about it in the past 6 months, especially if there have been any spies who have been to the Jiangfang positions recently. I will continue to monitor the Japanese spies on my end. Yaoxian, if I discover a fake spy, will I catch him or not? We have already taken control of the staff of the Zhenjiang team, and this news will definitely spread. Therefore, even if it is true, we must arrest it. If we don't arrest it, there will be a problem," Zheng Yaoxian said. "Okay, then I will be responsible for stationed troops here." At dawn, Huang Shilong and the entire Zhenjiang group were escorted by an army to Nanjing. Wang Tianfeng and his men went to the garrison camp by the river. Zheng Yaoxian and Mu Yuan rested in the hotel for a few hours, and arrived at dawn to meet up with Song Xiao'an and the others. Song Xiao'an gave Zheng Yaoxian the breakfast he had prepared for a long time and said, "Brother, we have investigated secretly. There is only one person living here. The landlord said that he is a truck driver and works at Pier 7. He is called Fu Deong. Does he live alone? The landlord said he often brings back different flashy women, but he doesn't stay overnight. At most, the women will leave in an hour. Truck drivers usually earn a lot of money, and on the surface, it seems normal for a man to often bring women back. Does this mean there are no secrets here?" Zhao Jinji said. "Don't just look at the surface. Is there no place for him to vent in a brothel? Why would a spy bring women back home? If this is a cover-up, then check where he brought these women back from, figure out the time they came, and see if it matches." "Yes, brother, let's go investigate now." "Brother, the Japanese spy has come out," said Song Xiao'an. Go ahead and get busy. If you have anything to do, go back to the office to find Changsheng, and I will call him. Muyuan followed this Fu Deong, and he really arrived at Pier 7. He stayed at the pier until after 10 o'clock, but most of the trucks started to be busy, except for him who had no work to do. The other drivers have all driven, and he seems to have made excuses to refuse. Good thing, it's very likely he's going to meet up. What surprised Zheng Yaoxian and Muyuan was that Fu Deong left the dock and did not go elsewhere, but directly returned to his residence. Zheng Yaoxian and Muyuan waited until 1:10 o'clock before the Japanese spy lazily came out. Two neighboring women who passed by warmly greeted the Japanese spy, Master Fu, go to work. West, go to work, Fu Deong said with a perfunctory smile. Muyuan heard it very clearly. Although Fu Deong only said 5 words, it still had a pure and authentic taste of a daisy. As a modern person, this accent is very familiar. It is also clear that because Japanese people do not know the rolled tongue sound, most Japanese people learn Chinese with this accent. The most memorable thing is, there is an ancient Chinese saying that misunderstands Shi as a hero. Therefore, Muyuan is now more certain that Fu Deong is Japanese. Muyuan didn't follow closely, he just followed the Japanese spy 2 streets from what he thought was a safe distance. Zheng Yaoxian remained quiet and closely followed Muyuan. However, it was daytime, and he could also see the Japanese spy about 30 meters away. Fu Deong bought a box of cigarettes from a roadside stall, then squatted on the roadside and started smoking. After looking around, he looked at the Xiao noodle shop across from him. Muyuan and Zheng Yaoxian also saw this noodle shop. It is now 1:40 and there are quite a few people eating. The noodle shop operates a local restaurant that eats pot-covered noodles. Brother, it seems to be this noodle shop. He's waiting for someone, said Muyuan. Wait for him to enter, let's go in again. Can you read lip language and Japanese as well? Brother, the area inside the noodle shop is not large, so there's no need to read lips at such a close distance. I should be able to hear their conversation. Ah Yuan, I have to say that your talent is simply amazing. You should know that this can save a lot of effort, especially for people like Zheng Yaoxian who are more aware of the benefits of this skill. The two of them waited until 2 o'clock, and there were only 3 people left in the small noodle shop to eat noodles. Fu Deong then walked in and sat directly at the table by the window. Zhaozuiyuan.com. A bowl of noodles was quickly delivered to Fu Deong, who wolfed it down. Zheng Yaoxian was about to enter the noodle shop when he was stopped by Muyuan and said, Brother, he doesn't look like someone else right now. Yeah, why are you eating so fast if you wait for someone? It seems like he wants to finish his meal quickly and leave. 3 people eating noodles in the noodle shop have also left, and currently he is the only one left. Brother, he arrived in less than 1:40, but waited across the street for more than 20 minutes before entering and eating so quickly. This indicates that the person he was waiting for has already arrived. The person who was eating at the table just now has a problem. Brother, the 3 people who used to eat at this table were foreign cartmen, all speaking local dialects and not like Japanese spies. Fu Deong finished eating and came out. Big brother. I suspect this table is located in the Japanese spy's dead mailbox. Dead mailbox. I understand what you mean, the person sitting at this table again is a Japanese spy. Another person has entered. Muyuan also saw that after Fu Deong came out, a short man with round legs walked into the noodle shop, and this person sat directly at the table by the window. Upon seeing this scene, both Zheng Yaoxian and Muyuan grinned. Brother, the spy contacts are quite careful today. There are no particularly important things that we won't encounter, but rather messages are transmitted through a dead mailbox. This is a Japanese spy that hasn't run away, good brother. I promise you can get promoted this time. The little devils are indeed very cunning. There are many people eating at this noodle shop, and using the table here as a dead mailbox is very dangerous. In order to avoid accidents, they chose to eat noodles before and after this time. Unfortunately, we cannot know the information they conveyed this time. So, I will keep an eye on this Japanese spy. Brother, go and keep an eye on Fu Daong. Chapter 8, Second Day Spy. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Zheng Yaoxian didn't want to separate from Muyuan and said, Yuan, just in case, I brought 2 brothers with me. I asked them to follow Fu Daong. Don't worry, because just keep an eye on them. I promise there won't be any mistakes. Otherwise, Zheng Yaoxian had a good reputation in the Military Statistics Bureau, and this time he didn't want to take credit for himself. It was all about himself. Encountering such a good comrade as soon as you enter this era is definitely a time-traveling welfare. Brother, I'm sorry you said that. I know what you're thinking, it's all about catching Japanese spies. Besides, your abilities are here. This time, I'll listen to you, brother. Brother, I have little experience, so I have to have you at the helm. I'll arrange it now. Zheng Yaoxian turned around to buy a pack of cigarettes, and Mu Yuan saw the 2 people following Fu Daong. From the distance and state they tracked, he knew they were experienced action experts, so he was relieved. The Japanese spy who entered later also quickly finished his meal and left. Muyuan and Zheng Yao followed suit, but after passing a corner, he entered an electrician station. After entering, he changed into his work clothes and began to work. If this person hadn't gone to get in touch with Fu Daong, it would have been hard to imagine that he was a Japanese spy. Zheng Yaoxian couldn't help but sigh, these 2 Japanese spies are still looking for technical jobs and making a lot of money. In that era, there were not many drivers and electricians, but they had a lot of work, so they made more money. They all have cover identities, it seems they are planning to lurk for a long time, said Muyuan. This is not far from the noodle shop. Yuan, you stay here and watch. I'll go back to the noodle shop and take a look. Muyuan knew that Zheng Yaoxian was going to see how the Japanese spy's death mailbox was set up and said, Brother, if the Japanese spy and I are not here, you can go back to the office and wait for my message. Okay, I'll try to come back as soon as possible. Zheng Yao returned to the noodle shop and ordered a bowl of noodles. While waiting for the noodles, he carefully inspected the table and windowsill. Soon, he found a brick cracked the size of a little thumb below the windowsill, which he couldn't see without bending down and looking down. Zheng Yaoxian took out a 10-yuan banknote and rolled it into a tube, about a finger deep. There isn't much dust in the cracks of the bricks, that's right. This is the temporary dead mailbox used by Japanese spies. If it weren't for today's surveillance, no ordinary person would have noticed this. The little devil is indeed cunning. Boss. The small noodle shop is owned by a family. When you hear a customer shout, come over quickly and ask, Sir, what else do you need? Don't worry, I'll ask you a few questions, Zheng Yaoxian said, taking out a 1-yuan bill and placing it on the table. The boss immediately understood his meaning and looked at the money with a smile, saying, Sir, may I ask? I promise to speak without hesitation. Half an hour ago, did you remember 2 guests sitting at this table eating noodles with their front and back legs? The boss seemed to have a good mind and immediately replied, Yes, these 2 people always come back and forth, and they always like to sit in the same position. Do you have a deep impression of them? It's really easy to remember because these 2 people have very similar behaviors. They both wolf down noodles and make louder noises than the average person. The most impressive thing is that they both come around 2 o'clock when there aren't many people around, and they must be sitting in your seat one in front of the other. Often come. They come at least twice a week, and they are more frequent this week. Plus, this is already their 3rd time. So these 2 people have never sat together to eat. No, one left while the other came in. Thank you, boss. Take the money, Zheng Yaoxian said, deliberately lighting up his gun. The boss was so scared that he placed the money on the table again. Don't be afraid, I asked you to hold it, just don't tell anyone about our conversation, remember. The boss finally picked up the money with peace of mind and said, remember. Where is a public phone here? There is a grocery store across the street. Thank you, boss. Zheng Yaoxian did not eat noodles, so he stood up and left the noodle shop. He went directly to the grocery store and called the office to find Zhou Changsheng, who was one of his capable subordinates. Brother, Officer Wang called and said that Chief of Staff Hu Hongbin went missing last night. He said he was called away by a woman and has not returned yet. He is currently searching around the world. Did you say what women look like? Officer Wang wants to tell brother in person. Did he say when he came back? I didn't say anything, but I'm still looking for Chief Hu. I heard from Officer Wang that he wants me to come over. Got it, where are Xiao'an and Jinse? They are sleeping in the nearby office. Call them up and have them immediately investigate the Wuxiaxiang electrician station. I need the information and start date of all the employees inside. Yes. Also, let Shizi and Xiaojiang come across from the electrician station in Wujiao Lane and come to me immediately. Yes. I'll go notify them now. Zheng Yaoxian hung up the phone and returned to Wujiao Alley, where he saw Muyuan hiding in a corner, staring at the electrician station. The spy was still busy that day. Upon seeing Zheng Yaoxian return, Muyuan said, Brother, the spy has been busy since he returned this day. So far, there hasn't been any suspicious behavior, and I haven't seen anything from him. Well, I have already confirmed that the noodle shop is the place where Japanese spies transmit messages. You're right, there's a wall hole as thick as a little thumb under the windowsill next to that table. Find Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com, which is their temporary death mailbox. This Japanese spy should have received the message from Fu Deong. I just don't know if they use password code to convey messages. I guess it will be used, after all, places like noodle shops are still a bit unsafe, Zheng Yaoxian said. Brother, so many things have happened in the past 2 days, I estimate they will still be passing on messages soon. That's right, I just received news that the Chief of Staff for Garrison Operations, Hu Hongbin, is missing. He said he was called away by a woman last night and has not returned yet. Chief of Staff for Operations. It seems that Huang Shilong is right. The Japanese spy's Cicada plan is likely related to the Jiangfang map, and this Chief of Staff for Operations is definitely the target of the Japanese spy because he must know about the new Jiangfang fortifications, as well as the deployment of troops and firepower. That would be terrible. Maybe the Yellow Sparrow has already obtained the river defense map. Brother, it's necessary for us to go to the garrison camp. You're right, my people will arrive soon. When they arrive, the two of us will go find Wang Tianfeng. After waiting for a while, 2 plainclothes approached Zheng Yaoxian and said, Brother. What task? Shizi. Xiaojiang, have you seen the electrician station across from you? The shortest person working inside is the target you want to target. He is a Japanese spy, so you must be following me closely and not letting him notice. I heard that the Japanese spy and the two of them furrowed their eyebrows together and promised, don't worry, brother. We promise we won't be caught by him. Use your brain more and don't stand here foolishly staring. Brother, we guarantee with our heads that there will never be any mistakes. You guys stay here watching, we'll try to get them back before the end of work. Brother, we drove here and stopped ahead. Chapter 9. Reasonable Interpretation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zheng Yaoxian drove with Muyuan to find Wang Tianfeng, but he was not at the station. An officer told them that they had just discovered the body of Chief Hu, which was in a small forest near the riverbank. Wang Tianfeng and several officers were already present at the scene. Zheng Yaoxian and Muyuan rushed over immediately upon hearing this, and upon arrival, they saw Wang Tianfeng talking to several officers. Some soldiers in plainclothes were searching in the woods, while others were surveying the scene. Wang Tianfeng immediately welcomed Zheng Yaoxian and said, "Yaoxian, it is now certain that Chief Hu has a copy of the Jiangfang map in his hand, but the map is still in his safe. But I am worried that the Japanese spy may have already obtained the film of the Jiangfang map." "Yuan, hurry up and survey the site," Zheng Yaoxian said, still wanting to see Yuan's abilities. Yuan is already surveying the site, as he is from the Secret Service. No one dares to stop him from the officers on site. Zheng Yaoxian looked at the Yuan survey and was very professional. Then he asked Wang Tianfeng, "Is there any clue to the woman who called out General Hu? I just heard it's very beautiful, I've never seen it before." Zheng Yaoxian looked at Hu Hongbin's body and frowned, saying, "Seduction. Just kill him when you get the Jiangfang map." This explanation is a bit unreasonable. Let's not worry about whether it's reasonable or not. If the Japanese spy obtains the Jiangfang map, it will be terrible. The position commands us to investigate thoroughly and also orders us to catch Huang Ke and his accomplices. Wang Tianfeng said. The death of General Hu has already alarmed everyone. How could such a big matter be concealed? At present, it's just speculation. It needs to be verified whether Chief of Staff Hu is related to the Cicada plan, Zheng Yaoxian said. I know, I have already asked the brothers in Yeyang to investigate Hu Hongbin's family, and there should be news later. Are you worried that the Japanese spy will use his family to threaten General Hu? This is a common tactic used by Japanese spies. If there is a situation in Yeyang, it can be basically confirmed that General Hu is being targeted by Japanese spies, but he won't be killed either. Controlling him is not more advantageous for Japanese spies, so it can be said that this is also the Chief of Operations Staff. Zheng Yaoxian thought to himself. This is also the method that Wang Tianfeng likes to use. Yuan had carefully surveyed the scene and said to Zheng Yaoxian and Wang Tianfeng, "Chief Hu's spear is missing. His military uniform looks a bit messy, so he probably got into a fight with that woman. He was stabbed to death in the heart with a sharp blade. This can be said to be steady, accurate, and fast. This woman is a skilled swordsman. Are you sure this woman killed it? The scene has been destroyed, but the woman's footprints can still be identified. Are there any other discoveries?" Zheng Yaoxian asked. It should have been Chief Hu's first move. The other party was not supposed to kill him, but in the end, for some reason, he was killed with a single blow. Perhaps Chief Hu pulled out his gun and wanted to kill the other party, but was counterattacked by the other party. Yuan studied on site investigation, logical reasoning, and other subjects at Public Security University with excellent grades. Wang Tianfeng said in admiration at this moment, "Yuan, you can see so much. This is just the most basic profile based on the scene." Judging from General Hu's expression, he was very angry. It should have been because the other party had agitated him, so he drew his gun. The other party should have been entangled with him for a while, and seeing that he really wanted to risk his life, he stabbed him to death with a knife. Yuan enjoys watching spy dramas and is very familiar with the main characters and storylines in the dramas. For example, he is very clear about the ending of Zheng Yaoxian and Wang Tianfeng. If you say it now, they won't believe it. There are two ways to make them believe it. One is to be good at divination, which is easy to prove. But as a communist warrior, Mahara didn't want to be seen as a godly stick, so after thinking about it, the profile writer was even more towering and intimidating, because this profession didn't exist in this era. So Yuan is now laying an ambush, turning the on-site investigation and reasoning into profiling, in order to prepare for explaining why he is familiar with a person in the future. Are you sure it was a woman who killed him? From the angle of the sharp blade piercing into the body and the analysis of General Hu's height, the perpetrator's height is about 1.6 meters. With the footprints of the woman on site, it can be basically determined that the person who killed General Hu is a woman. I just learned about Chief Hu, who is said to be a good person and very loyal to the party and the country. Perhaps Chief Huang originally wanted to kill the other party, but the other party is a well-trained Japanese spy, and he is not an opponent, said Wang Tianfeng. It's also possible. Take the person back, there should be a reply from Yang, said Wang Tianfeng. Returning to the military camp, there was indeed a letter from Yang. A few days ago, some friends who claimed to be Hu's staff visited the Hu family and said that Hu wanted a family portrait. They took them to the photo studio to take a few photos, especially Hu's wife and children who took extra photos. Indeed, he threatened him with his family, otherwise General Hu wouldn't have followed this woman out, said Wang Tianfeng. Has no one seen this woman before? Mu Yuan asked. I have asked all the officers and they all said they haven't seen it, said Wang Tianfeng. It's impossible that no one has seen her, this woman is very likely a yellow sparrow. Find Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com, Mu Yuan said. Brother Mu, after all, General Hu is a soldier. Are you sure there is only one woman on site? Wang Tianfeng asked. Although the scene was destroyed, due to the soft soil in the small forest, it was still possible to distinguish between the footprints of General Hu and the woman. The remaining footprints were mostly just left behind, and the woman was killed with a precise blow in the fight, which is enough to prove that this woman is a master. General Hu cannot be his opponent. That's why I said, at the beginning, the other party did not want to kill General Hu. It should be because he was determined to die that he was killed. Since she didn't want to kill at first, and she was a master, why did she still kill him in the end? Wang Tianfeng continued to ask. I think it's better not to kill. General Hu would rather die than comply. If he still keeps his female Japanese spy, it will be exposed, so he has to die. The Japanese spy is a bit reluctant because if Chief Hu could use it for her, it would be of great value. It makes sense. This is just your speculation. I hope it's not like that, but this scene only reminds me of this reasonable explanation. Ah Yuan, you said it's impossible that no one in the military has seen this woman. Zheng Yaoxian asked. Yes, Japanese spies cannot hang General Hu from this tree. They will definitely cast a wide net and use various methods to coerce and lure high-ranking military officers into their use. You make sense. Then let's go back and continue investigating. I can't ask anything when I go back, Captain Zheng. Let's go back to the office, Mu Yuan gave Zheng Yao a wink. There was a military officer next to him, who was worried about missing the day spy job as an electrician. Follow him and maybe we can still discover something. Zheng Yaoxian immediately understood and said, okay, let's go back first. I don't want to waste time here either. Chapter 10 is becoming increasingly interesting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the way back, Wang Tianfeng, Zheng Yaoxian, and Mu Yuan rode in the same car. Wang Tianfeng saw Mu Yuan, who was only 20.4 or 5 years old, frowning and thinking. He looked very mature, and he should still be thinking about Chief Hu. He praised him, Yaoxian, you are a talented person with clear logic, meticulous observation, and reasonable analysis. You are a difficult person to obtain. That's it. It seems that your trip to Jingzhong was not in vain. You found a treasure. Hehe, whether we can crack this Japanese spy team this time depends entirely on him. Zheng Yaoxian has his own judgment and analysis of the case, and he completely agrees with Mu Yuan's statement. Some aspects are even more detailed than he thinks. Wang Tianfeng is also a person who loves talent, and he envied, you're a cheap guy. Zheng Yaoxian really wanted to bring Mu Yuan to him at this moment and asked, Ah Yuan, what are you really thinking? Mu Yuan had been pondering, and based on his knowledge and experience with the original owner, he had a rough idea in his mind. He said, brother. If that female assassin is the Japanese spy Yellowbird, I probably know what the Cicada plan is. Zheng Yaoxian saw that Muyuan had misunderstood his question and didn't ask any further. He nodded along his train of thought and said, Jiang Fang is not dead. Even if we don't leak secrets, we will often adjust and change our deployment, especially when our positions are by the river. The defense lines during the flood and dry seasons are very different. The best way to obtain accurate information about Jiang Fang is to always have spies who provide intelligence to Japanese spies. Wang Tianfeng also suddenly said, the higher the rank of the officer who was bribed, the more valuable the intelligence provided. Therefore, at the beginning of that day's spy mission, he was not willing to kill Chief of Staff Hu. They tried to bribe Chief Hu but failed. If I were a Japanese spy, I would not have killed him unless absolutely necessary, because it would have caught the attention of our secret service and only increased the difficulty of their future actions, said Muyuan. Yuan's analysis is right. Yeah, it's very likely that someone in the military has already been working for Japanese spies. Wang Tianfeng felt the seriousness of the situation and said. Many men are saddened by the beauty scandal, especially the beautiful female spy who has undergone professional training. Just why did she take the risk of going to the military camp? Isn't she not afraid of being exposed? Did this woman change her appearance by putting on makeup? Muyuan said. Is it because we sent Huang Shilong and the Zhenjiang team away? Japanese spies are worried that we already know the content of the Cicada plan and are a bit panicked, said Wang Tianfeng. Huang Shilong has never seen Japanese spies, so he shouldn't panic for him, Zheng Yaoxian said. It's possible what Muyuan said, maybe this female Japanese spy just put on makeup, said Wang Tianfeng. The box found by the second team is likely to contain information and photos of some military officers' family members. Perhaps General Huang became angry after seeing photos of his family members, Zheng Yaoxian speculated. If Japanese spies want to truly control them, they must first control their loved ones. In fact, the tactics of Japanese spies are very cliché, which is coercion and inducement, just like when dealing with Huang Shilong. On one hand, there are 10 big yellow croakers, and on the other hand, there is a time bomb that can explode at any time. I think many people will choose gold bars. Yuan, we can only give the Japanese spy 2 more days at most. If they have a better connection, we can continue to follow suit. If they don't move for 2 days, we will have to arrest them, Zheng Yaoxian said. There are many dreams at night. If the Japanese spy discovers that it has been exposed, the current situation will be reversed. Muyuan also agrees with Zheng Yaoxian's decision and says, okay, just listen to Big Brother. Have you found 2 Japanese spies? Wang Tianfeng was also amazed by their speed. It was only the 3rd day, and it seemed that they had already grasped important clues. These 2 Japanese spies should both be from the Cicada Plan team, and one of them is codenamed Gecko, but it is not yet known which one of them is, Zheng Yaoxian said. Do you need my help? Wang Tianfeng asked. At this moment, Muyuan rushed to say, Officer Wang, you still need to keep an eye on the officers in the station troops. If this female sentinel has not seen her before, they may have met outside the military camp. Investigate where these officers usually go for activities. Perhaps we can find this mysterious woman in the places where the officers often appear. Okay. You are truly the person that Brother Yaoxian is interested in. He has a very clear mind. I know where these officers like to go, so I'll leave it to the military, said Wang Tianfeng. Halfway through, Wang Tianfeng got off the car and Zheng Yaoxian drove with Muyuan to Wujiao Lane. It was already 4:20 p.m. and the spy had not finished work that day. Shizi said to Zheng Yaoxian, Brother, Xiao'an has found out that this Japanese spy's Chinese name is Li Yukai. He has been working here for 6 months and has performed very well. He has always been hardworking and doesn't talk much about it. Who is he asking? Xiao'an reassured Big Brother and promised not to disturb the Japanese spies. The person in charge of the electrician station is a local and has some connections with our secret service. What is the relationship? He has relatives in our Secret Service office. Don't worry, big brother. He is not in Zhenjiang, but now in Shanghai. He is under Chen Moqun's command and graduated from a training class with Xiao'an at Shuyuan www.zhaoxuan.com. Upon hearing this, Muyuan immediately remembered the spy drama, The Rebel. In it, Chen Moqun was not the Shanghai district webmaster, but it happened to be at this time that this guy posed a great threat to the underground party. In the end, it wasn't because he defected to the little devil. Yes. Lin Nansheng was taken away from the cadre training class by him in 3 or 6 years. This kid has not caused much trouble for the underground party. It is only the end of March now. If there is a chance, we must stop Lin Nansheng from following Chen Moqun. By the way, there is also Wang Manchun, who is greedy, patient, and cunning. This kid is willing to betray Chen Moqun in order to rise to power. This world is really becoming more and more interesting because more and more familiar characters are appearing, and I also need to make some arrangements in advance, otherwise it is difficult to prevent some inevitable tragedies from happening. Sometimes it's easy to prevent an event from happening, for example, just making a phone call in advance can prevent the sacrifice of the underground party AMU, and it can also prevent Wang Ji from being arrested in Nanjing. Muyuan shook his head lightly at this thought, and a single Chen Moqun reminded him of so much. It seemed like he had a lot to do. At present, we should quickly find all the Japanese spies in Zhenjiang and stop their Cicada plan. The electrician station only finished work at 5:30, and Li Yukai changed his clothes and left. Muyuan and Zheng Yaoxian seized the opportunity to follow, while Shizi and Xiaojiang followed behind them. Li Yukai also walked and stopped. He seemed much more cautious than Fu Deong. Muyuan was using pedestrians to cover himself because there was a distance, and Li Yukai did not find any suspicious people before entering a post office. The post office in this era was very busy, with telephones installed on both walls of the business hall, and there were more people coming here to make long-distance calls. Brother, he may be going to make a phone call. I'll go in and listen to what he says.